solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness, all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be, for justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When Granny's crime busters ride, no victims left in vain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs out from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall. In a world full of shadows, she fights the unseen. A guardian of the truth in this wicked dream. Every story told brings her back to life. Granny's on the case, cutting through the lies. She guards the broken hearted from the world that hides. With unwavering spirit, she wears no disguise. Searching for the lost pieces of a shattered life. Granny brings the dawn after a longest night.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Super Bowl Sunday, right? Hello, Brenda Joe. Good to see you back. Justice Jane. Hello. Ginger Girl. It's good to see you. Awesome. So, yeah, we are continuing our coverage on the Boswell case, Megan Boswell. Really sad case. And I kind of wanted to talk about the timeline. What happened? Because I kind of came in on this case a little bit later. Actually, when the trial started is when I came in on it. So I thought, well, maybe there's others who, didn't know exactly what was going on in this case. And it's heartbreaking. It's when you're talking about a little 15-year-old child whose life was taken brutally from her by a parent. I mean, there's really no speculation in this case, right? I mean, Megan, the mother, is on trial for this baby's red rum. And she's got a lot of charges against her. She lied to the police so much and told the police that her baby Evelyn was with her mother, with allegedly the baby's father, who turned out not to be the baby's father. I mean, this girl, I think, is seriously mentally impaired. No excuse for what she did, right? It's never an excuse, but very, very sad situation. So I want to take a look at the timeline, and there's a video that goes along with it, so I thought we'd watch that as well. So I'm going to share my screen. And don't worry, I'll have you guys off here in time for Super Bowl Sunday. All right. Everybody see that all right? We'll just do this. Okay.
Joins us tonight. Will, you've spent the day going back into our archives of everything that's happened leading up to this trial.
Yeah, Casey, from start to finish, the entire ordeal took nearly 1 month in the winter of 2020. From the time Megan Boswell first reported her 15-month-old daughter missing to when police found the body later determined to be that of Evelyn's on family property. The case of the missing 15-year-old captured the hearts and attention of people across the country. The case of missing Evelyn Boswell started on February 18th, 2020.
I want to start out by saying that we have been looking for baby Evelyn since last Tuesday.
Her mother, Megan, reported her missing nearly 2 months after Megan says she last saw her.
As you all know, she was first reported missing last week, and we're still searching for her and working to determine exactly when she disappeared.
Sullivan County Sheriff Jeff Cassidy gave that update in February of 2020, days after the first report and TBI's issuance of an Amber Alert for the little girl. Sheriff Cassidy saying Megan Boswell wasn't telling the clear truth.
A lot of the stuff that you all are getting is from the mother, and you know, you take with it what you want, but she has been inaccurate, conflicting statements all through this investigation.
Just days before this news conference, police arrested Megan's mom, Angela Boswell, and her boyfriend, William McLeod, on theft of stolen property charges. The two appeared in court days later.
I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself.
That's Megan on February 24th, telling television cameras her mom took Evelyn camping in Virginia. Police searching that campground and coming up with nothing.
Many of the false statements that Megan made delayed our investigations and also impeded our investigations on trying to find Evelyn. As a result, she has been charged with false reporting.
The next day, police charged Megan first with false reporting.
At this point, most of you are aware that we've received a number of conflicting, inaccurate statements from the mother, Megan Boswell, Evelyn's mother.
March 2nd, Megan appears for the first time in court and handed a $25,000 bond, but the search continues for her daughter, Evelyn. On Friday, March 6th, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation found remains they believe to be Evelyn's at the Sullivan County property belonging to Tommy Boswell Sr., Evelyn's grandfather.
At this time, the investigation is in the very early stages. There's a lot of work left to be done.
With Megan already behind bars, the investigation continued. Then, on August 19th of 2020, police formally charged Megan Boswell with 2 counts of felony murder in the death of her daughter, Evelyn. Now, what came from this? Tonight, the law in the state of Tennessee requires parents to report their children missing within 24 hours of the last time they saw them. It's called Evelyn's Law, written and passed in the middle of the search for the 15-month-old nearly 5 years ago today, Casey.
And Will, it wasn't until nearly 2 years later until details of the death were released.
Yeah, September of 2022, that's when a forensics expert took to the stand in Sullivan County courtroom and said Evelyn's cause of death was by asphyxia in 4 places. She testified at the time it was her opinion that Evelyn was killed.
All right. A horrible crime there, and we will continue to follow this trial as jury selection is still underway today. Will, thank you.
Okay.
Between the car and
So let me get that off of there. All right. So the one good thing that has come out of this is Evelyn's Law. That means that in Tennessee, parents have to report their child missing within 24 hours, which I think is a good thing. You know, quite a bit too late for Evelyn. But yeah, I mean, you saw her throwing her mother under the bus, saying her mother had Evelyn when her mother didn't have Evelyn at all. But I think she knew that her mother's been in and out of jail, has trouble with drugs, so I don't know, I don't know all the ins and outs of Megan's upbringing. She was under foster care when she was pregnant with Evelyn until she turned 19, I guess. So, it's hard to tell exactly what happened, and we don't know for sure who the father is. Now, there's been a lot of speculation on the boyfriend, Hunter, okay? Because she had been kind of seeing Hunter on and off. But Hunter says he never saw the baby. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to that. It's like 3 minutes long.
The FBI, state and local investigators are teaming up tonight to try to find a 15-month-old little girl from Sullivan County. She's believed to have been last seen a couple of months ago.
That case is making headlines across Tennessee and the country. One day ago, the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office said a missing child investigation was underway for 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. Investigators said she was last seen by some family members the day after Christmas.
Around 8 o'clock last night, things escalated quickly. The TBI issued an Amber Alert, and it is still unclear why the child was reported missing after she was last seen several months ago, a couple of months ago. Tonight, the National Center for Exploited and Missing Children issued its own plea for information to try to track down this little girl. Febin Casahoon's live at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office, where she's been monitoring developments in the case all day. Febin?
Now, as the investigation continues for the search of this 15-month-old child, many people are telling me that they are being attacked on social media due to their involvement with the family. And I spoke with one man who says he has nothing to do with the disappearance of 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell.
I've never seen the baby in my life.
Hunter Wood says he briefly dated Evelyn's mother, Megan Boswell.
She applied for a job at my restaurant, Under T's Chicken Shack, and it wasn't like a relationship. It was an on and off going, type deal. It wasn't like an all out, relationship.
He says he's known Megan Boswell for about 2 months and never saw baby Evelyn.
All I've seen is pictures of her. I have no relationship with that child whatsoever.
He says he's received threats over the internet, causing him to shut down his restaurant's Facebook page.
To my knowledge, the entire time that I've known Maggie, I've never seen the baby, of course, but as well as the baby has been with the father, back from military leave. And that is all that I've known about the child.
He wants the focus to be on finding the child and not on him and his business.
There's been a bunch of stuff said about, my restaurant, Under T's Chicken Shack, things negative towards, to try to, stir away the main key factor of us just trying to operate.
The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office is working with the TBI to find baby Evelyn, who was reportedly last seen around December 26th.
In some aspects, the span of time that has gone by makes this a little difficult, but we are working it just as if no time has passed. Our primary our primary goal in this is to find this child.
Captain Andy Seabolt with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office says the mother and father of the child have been cooperating with officials.
We have spoken with many family members, and I'm sure that there are some others that would be helpful if we could speak with them as well. And part of what our investigators are doing is just attempting to contact people that may have information that can assist us.
Captain Seabolt says that if anyone knows anything about this missing 15-month-old child.
Okay, so obviously this was before they found Evelyn, baby Evelyn. But what's important here is Hunter was the one that she was seeing at the time that Evelyn went missing, okay? Hunter is now in a mental institution, allegedly because of everything he's gone through with this case. And he went there about 2 months before the trial started. Now, Megan, the mother, has told police several different stories. Okay, she told police that Evelyn was with her mother in a camper. Well, they found the mother and the boyfriend, and obviously Evelyn was not with them. She also told them that the father, allegedly Ethan Perry, had her, that he was home on leave from the army and he had her. Well, he hadn't. He asked to see her, and Megan was giving him all kinds of excuses, right? Then the last story that I'm aware of that she told police was that her or Hunter rolled over Evelyn while they were sleeping. They were all sleeping in the same bed, and that's why. But she didn't know where the baby's remains were. So the mother has been telling a lot of strange stories. Let's see. He never saw Evelyn in 2 months. Yeah, I don't know. That's what he says. That's why I played that, because it's physically him on camera saying he never saw the baby, right? There was testimony, I believe, from one of her girlfriends as well, that Megan told the girlfriend that Hunter had never seen the baby. So, you know, I don't know, right? He was getting attacked by social media. They said that, right? So, was it affecting his restaurant, everything? I mean, he seemed like a really solid guy though, so I find it hard to understand why he has committed himself. But his father got on the stand and said that he is in a mental institution because of all this. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just because he was blamed and it was just getting to be too much. He couldn't handle it. I don't know. But guys, here's my one big glaring question. What's in the water in Tennessee? What the heck is going on in Tennessee? Yeah. Yes, I did see that. He was involved in a DUI crash. There was not really much information though, right? But yeah, maybe he started drinking. I don't know. Maybe he's had I don't know. I don't know. But I think that there are many young people in Tennessee who need some serious counseling, some mental health counseling. Because how do you his father said he had a 4.0 grade level, and I get that because he seems very intelligent when we're listening to him, right? And now he doesn't even recognize his own father. So that's kind of scary, guys, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all this and thinking, Tennessee, again, right? Again, there was Summer Wells, there's Sebastian, there's this one, there's another one too. Yeah, I think they did. But when does this end? I mean, can we allow young people who are on drugs to blame their actions on drugs? I mean, I don't think so. A lot of people have asked why she isn't on trial with the death penalty. And I'm not going to play it, but I did see a video that stated that there are clear guidelines when you're looking at the death penalty, and when someone is 18 at the time of the crime, which she was. She's older now, but she was 18 at the time Evelyn's death occurred. They said that when an 18-year-old has no record and maybe one occurrence, that isn't grounds enough to consider a death penalty when this is like their first time. So that's why that's why they're going for life without the possibility of parole in her case. So, when we think about what everything that happened here, I don't know if you guys heard, which I have never heard before, asphyxia in 4 places. Okay. Let me see if I can find that one. Okay. I'm going to share this one. It's another 3-minute clip, and it talks about asphyxiation.
Continuing to follow new developments after the woman accused of killing her 15-month-old baby appeared in court this afternoon.
At Megan Boswell's hearing today in Bluntville, a judge heard arguments over whether certain photographs could be used as evidence and shown to jurors when the case goes to trial. Megan Boswell's accused of killing her then 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn, over 2 years ago. Now she faces 2 counts of felony murder and is accused of lying to investigators. Her daughter's remains were found on a family member's property.
In today's hearing, a forensic pathologist said Evelyn's cause of death was asphyxia, and a TBI agent said her body was found inside of a trash can in a playhouse.
Ansley Daniel has been in the courtroom throughout the day monitoring the graphic testimony. Ansley, let's go through the developments that came out of the hearing today.
Well, Josh and Sarah, a lot of information came out of this 3-hour hearing today that detailed the photos of the night that Evelyn was found. Now, the purpose of today's hearing was to decide which photos could be used in trial. They weren't shown today, but were only described in testimony. That testimony, though, revealed that Evelyn died of asphyxiation or suffocation. The state did bring in a forensic pathologist to explain how these photos reveal her cause of death, along with how decomposed her body was when it was found. It explained that Evelyn was found inside of a playhouse, but that her body was wrapped in aluminum foil, then inside what is described as a thick fleece blanket. She was then put in a trash bag and placed upside down in a garbage can.
What's really important for me was to show the placement of the foil and how tightly actually one can see the outline of the head and upper body with the foil being attached. So it's not crumpled foil from somebody, I don't know, barbecuing or doing something and then putting it next to the child. It's actually wrapped around the upper part of the child.
The photos also show indentions on Evelyn's head and body from the foil and blanket, and show that her body was in a position the pathologist said wouldn't allow her to breathe. The court did have to take a recess before getting deep into that testimony today, because Megan Boswell hadn't seen the photos before today's hearing. She was visibly crying when she walked back into the courtroom this afternoon.
The pictures that we went back and went through are very graphic and just very disturbing. And, you know, she reacted the way I would expect any of us to. You know, it was very upsetting. Unfortunately, I've had the opportunity to look at those pictures over and over again.
The photos weren't the only point of contention today.
court started by Boswell asking for a new attorney. She and Sproles told the judge that they are not on the same page when it comes to this case, and that all came to a head today as he said they weren't able to effectively prepare for this hearing. The judge denied that request, but said that could change depending on how they work together in the future. The judge only decided to omit a handful of photos from the trial. He said in his eyes, especially after today's testimony, they are all relevant when it comes to finding out what happened to Evelyn Boswell. In Blunteville, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
So we see that her body was wrapped in tinfoil, and they said that you could actually see the indentations, like the eye sockets, the nose, the mouth. You could make out little Evelyn's face. Yeah, horrific in my opinion. I still don't understand yet what the motive was, except that I think she wanted Hunter badly. And he wasn't committing to her outright. You heard him even in the thing say it wasn't a full-blown relationship. If you read between the lines, it kind of sounded like, they were sleeping together here and there, whatever. But it wasn't a full-blown relationship. And she told her girlfriends it wasn't as well. But I think she really wanted him. I think she could see herself with him, and maybe she thought Evelyn was in the way. Maybe he didn't want to meet Evelyn. I mean, we don't know any of this, right? So it's hard to figure out what her motive really was for this. She has not admitted to this. All she's done is lie throughout the whole thing. And yes, Ginger, she did say that. She could not have a polygraph because she was pregnant. She told police she was pregnant when she was arrested. Turns out she was not. She was not. There is talk of a guy that she dated around the time that Evelyn was born in 2019. His name was Caleb. And there's talk that Caleb might be the father. I mean, I don't know. The defense attorney did say that it's going to come out in the trial who the father is, or who the father was, I should say. I guess at this point it doesn't really matter because this was the man that she accused, Ethan Perry. He was in the Army. When he testified a couple days ago, he has long hair now, shoulder length hair. Doesn't quite look the same, but this was him when he was in the Army, right? And so I know that Caleb's mother had gotten really close to Evelyn and was buying her gifts. So there's that as well. I don't know if she suspected that Ethan might have been the father. I don't know. But she said that anytime she would see Megan, Evelyn was with her until December when Megan went to pick up the gifts that Caleb's mom had for her. She didn't have Evelyn with her. She said Evelyn was with Ethan. Well, Ethan never had the baby at all. The only time he saw the baby was when Megan and Evelyn went to Texas to see him. And they were there for a couple weeks, and that's when he saw Evelyn. But I mean, he was stationed in the Army, so he didn't get to see Evelyn. I think that he had doubts whether he was a father anyway. On Facebook, they're saying that Eric Smith is the father. Not sure if that is who is Eric Smith. She got around. I'm sorry. We have Ethan. We have Hunter. I mean, come on, guys. This was only 3 years. So we have she was dating Caleb, then Ethan, and Hunter, and now Eric Smith. Every time I start digging into this case, thinking I'm kind of starting to get a handle on it, somebody new is thrown in the mix. Oh my goodness. Well, I wonder who Eric Smith is. Do we know, Justice? They say she slept with the whole. No. Well, then she might not know who the father is. Oh my gosh. Slept with the whole high school football team. Well, I imagine she had quite the reputation. Wow. That poor baby. You know, I'm a firm believer in, yeah, hopefully they will reveal it in court. I'm a firm believer in no matter what your childhood is like, you make your own choices when you become an adult, right? If she didn't want that child, she could have gave that child up for adoption. There was no paternity on the father's end, so I mean that probably would have went through pretty quickly, right? That's my opinion. That baby might have had a chance and a halfway decent life, right? It's the decisions that we make as adults. I'm sorry, 18, you're an adult. That's what, I just read rumors, just what I read. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, evidently, there's, I mean, if his name came up, there's probably a reason for it, right? Just, was she just looking for someone to love her? I mean, I don't know, right? But I don't know what her home life was like. It sounded like her mother and father, Angela was her mother, and her father, had a tumultuous relationship. I don't know if I had a picture. I have a picture of the mom, but I didn't take a picture of the dad. That's mom and the boyfriend. And they had stolen Hunter's car. So, I mean, I don't know. They said they didn't, that they were paying for the vehicle, but I don't know. If Megan lied that much, she learned it somewhere, right? And they are in jail, so they might have bonded out. I don't know. But the mother hasn't really, as far as I know, said anything. I know that they said they are making sure that Megan and her mother are not able to speak to each other in jail. They're keeping them apart, which is understandable. The boyfriend said he only saw the baby a couple of times. And And he said that the mother, meaning Megan, knew exactly where the baby was when the police questioned him. So I think she was looking for a sugar daddy that would take care of her selfish, lazy butt. Using pregnancy to trap a man is awful. Yeah. Well, it didn't work, did it? It didn't work. She didn't trap him. I think he knew, you know. From the sounds of it, it sounded like her and Ethan had been together for a few years, but I don't know if it was just a solid relationship or what, because they were dating in high school. But then, I mean, if she slept with other people, I don't know. I don't know how high school works anymore. I mean, do they swing? What are they what are they doing? I don't have a clue. I know some things are really off the wall. I saw an article today, and I know this is kind of off topic, but I saw an article today about a teacher who identifies as a cat and was licking her own hand and stuff during her classroom. I don't know. So I don't get high school anymore today. I just don't. So much going on. But getting back to the timeline. So share the screen so we can all see it together. So Evelyn's mom, Megan, reported her daughter missing on February 18th. Okay. Now keep in mind that as far as we know, December 26th is when someone last saw Evelyn. And she said her daughter had been missing since December of the year before. Now, you know, and that's why Evelyn's law has come into pass, right? Because you can't think of that poor baby in that playhouse, wrapped tinfoil, fleece blanket, garbage bag, and another garbage bag shoved into the bottom head first of that garbage can with more garbage on top of it yet. It's grotesque. Yes. Caleb's mom. Yeah. Hello, Melissa. Good to see you. She would have helped Megan. Yeah. She wanted to help. She testified that she would help. Her dad paid all of her bills, bought her a car, gave her his credit card, and she would still not clean her room. Yeah. And he gave her a trailer to stay in on his property. And when they had it cleaned afterwards, I guess it was just filthy. Not only that, but near the end, Megan's foster mom's sister was babysitting Evelyn and said that the diaper rash that Evelyn had, she'd never seen anything so bad. So what does that tell you? That tells me that she wasn't changing her often, wasn't wiping her down, you know, that kind of thing. So that poor baby, what she must have suffered. Try to make this bigger so you guys can see it. Okay, better. All right, so on February 19th, the TBI did not wait long to issue an Amber Alert. The investigation itself reports that at the time was prompted by Tommy Boswell Sr., Evelyn's grandfather, when he called the Department of Children's Services. And we will watch this on another night. We're going to watch Megan's dad testify. And he does talk about how he was asking Megan, you've given me all these excuses. Where is she? Producer. Okay, if Ethan's got her, fine. But he can't all of a sudden just show up in her life and expect to keep her. I want her here. I think he said by Sunday or something. And he said, if not on Monday morning, I'm calling Child Protective Services. And on Monday morning, he called Child Protective Services. So he wasn't pulling no punches with Megan. Tough love, and it's what she needed, in my opinion. February 21st, 2020, the waters became more muddied, with Sullivan County Sheriff Jeff Cassidy telling the media that his office received conflicting reports about Evelyn's disappearance. Specifically, the sheriff said one report said Evelyn had last been seen on December 26th, but a babysitter later claimed to have seen the girl on December 10th or 11th. It was at this time that Cassidy also confirmed that Megan Boswell and Ethan Perry, Evelyn's father, were involved in the investigation. Her stories aren't leading up to stuff we went out and checked on, the sheriff said, pointing to video surveillance evidence and eyewitness testimonies. He called the stream of information coming into his office as conflicting and inaccurate. Well, I imagine. How did she think she was going to get away with saying that Evelyn was at Ethan's? Okay, because Ethan lived on the barracks. And so when they called Ethan's superiors, and then superiors called Ethan into the office, and said, hey, I don't know where she is. I have no clue. No, I don't have a baby. No, no, she's not here, What did she think was gonna, obviously she wasn't thinking straight, in my opinion. How did she think she was going to get away with that? Right? February 21st was also the same day Boswell spoke to WCYB, a Northeast Tennessee news outlet, outside a courtroom in Bristol. She told WCYB that she knew who had taken Evelyn, but did not want to contact police and risk tipping that person off. The reason I didn't report it or anything was I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her, Boswell said. I'm just kind of worried, on where they are at, what they're doing with her at this point in time. That day proved to be an important one for the investigation. The TBI also announced on February 21st that investigators had identified and found in North Carolina a gray BMW connected to the girl's disappearance. And 2 people charged. That was her mother and her mother's boyfriend, William McLeod, and Angela Boswell. So, February 22nd, Evelyn's disappearance began to ripple all the way to Nashville. Of course. The search for the girl prompted a petition called Evelyn's Law in the Tennessee Senate. It asked lawmakers to pass legislation making it illegal for parents to wait longer than 72 hours to report a missing child. Aha. Is that why Katie and Chris called the sheriff's office right away? February 24th marked another appearance of Boswell to the media. She told CBS affiliate WJHL that her mother, Angela Boswell, had taken the girl to Mendota, Virginia. I told the TBI where to find her in Mendota, Boswell said at the time. My mom took her to a campground in a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself because I've told them and they're not really taking it seriously. And if they don't go tonight, I will go myself and go get her. Interesting. I don't understand this girl's brain at all. And the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office had searched a campground, obviously, but found nothing. February 25th was 6 days after issuing the Amber Alert. The TBI announced on February 25th that Boswell had been taken into custody and charged with false reporting. I am so glad that they did that. So unlike in the Sebastian Rogers case, this case, you can see the police were doing everything that they needed to do, right? Obviously, there's no connections, there's no corruption or anything going on, right? They were doing everything that they needed to do. The girl was still missing. Her mother was being housed in the Sullivan County Jail on a $25,000 bond. February 26th. Every time we talk to her, her story changes. I'm serious when I say that every single time, said Captain Andrew Siebold, investigator on the case. He said that at a news conference giving an update in the search for Evelyn, which just after the conference ended, moved again into Wilkes County, North Carolina. There, investigators searched for the girl near a pond on the property connected to the Boswell family. Property records at the time showed the land was owned by a family member of William McLeod, the boyfriend of Evelyn's grandmother. The search proved to be inconclusive, but several people that day spoke to WVLT News about the search. A woman who claimed to be friends with Boswell said the mother knew where Evelyn was and who had her. McLeod himself said he had only seen Evelyn 1 or 2 times since he began dating Angela Boswell in June of 2019. He also said he'd offered to take a lie detector test, something Boswell said she could not do because she was pregnant, which turned out to be another lie. On February 27th, while not speaking frankly, Captain Siebold spoke on Boswell's alleged pregnancy. So basically what he said is on Monday, February 21st, there were 4 pregnant inmates. On Tuesday, February 25th, there were 4 pregnant inmates. So, in other words, she wasn't pregnant. She was booked in at 9:19 p.m. on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, the pregnant inmate count total was 5. But I don't know. Evidently, that turned up to be false. Because I read something somewhere else that she was not pregnant. She lied about it. Just checking on the comments here. March 2nd. The beginning of March saw Boswell appear before a judge. She was formally charged with false reporting and denied a request to lower her bond from $25,000 to $10,000. March 6th, just days after Boswell appeared in court, the TBI announced investigators had found remains they thought to be Evelyn on a property belonging to a Boswell family member. March 9th, Boswell appeared in court again, and investigators revealed more information about the part she had played in the search. Ultimately, TBI investigators said Boswell had shared false and conflicting information, costing valuable time in the search for the missing girl. As for the discovery of Evelyn's body, investigators said the remains of an infant had been found at a home on Muddy Creek Road. That home belonged to Boswell's father, brother, and grandmother. On top of that, investigators said the remains were dressed in similar clothes to those Evelyn had reportedly been wearing. Boswell bond jumped to $150,000 that day. August 19th, after a summer of court appearances and family statements, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation confirmed on August 19, 2020, that Boswell had been charged with 2 counts of felony red rum. July 1st is when Evelyn's Law went into effect. And, of course, here we are. It also says September 23rd, Dr. Darinka Milusnik-Polchan spoke that day saying Evelyn's cause of death was asphyxia in 4 places. She also said in her opinion Evelyn had been red-rummed. So there we have it. So that's quite the timeline. We don't have Megan admitting to anything other than she must have told them about the garbage can at some point. That Megan was in a garbage can. I don't know when she told them that. I'm sure that's going to come out in the trial. We'll find out more. We are going to, of course, watch. We'll watch bits and pieces of the trial. I'm not going to show all of it. We're already 5 days in now. So, but I think like her dad's testimony, Ethan's testimony, those are going to be important. We'll see who else is testifying. We know that Hunter won't be testifying. Well, his dad did, so I'll be checking all those out and see what I think has relevance to the timeline and what happened with baby Evelyn, right? In the meantime, everything is still dark at night, and Hong and Nick's side of things. So I don't know that. I think they're working on something in the background. I'm not sure if we're going to have movement on Sebastian's case pretty quickly here. I'm hoping so. Hello, Cheryl. Her defense is definitely trying hard to get a mistrial and put forward a reasonable doubt theory. Yeah, they really are trying hard. There was quite a big recess, and I don't know, things going on in court, and it was regarding the fact that Hunter was in this mental institution now all of a sudden. So I don't know, how much that's going to affect anything. I guess time's going to tell, right? I have a feeling, though, we can talk about reasonable doubt, but guys, the jury is made up of people like you and me. And do you really think that people are not going to be sitting on that jury and they're hearing about the lies that she told? They're hearing this. You think they're not going to realize, hey, wait a minute. The other thing that I was going to say was, when they were talking, wow, it just went right over my head. It sucks to get old. I don't remember what I was going to say. It's funny. But anyway, I don't think a jury is going to believe that she's innocent, that there's reasonable doubt there. When you look at, I don't get the tinfoil, though. I said this in the last video I did. I do not get the tinfoil, guys. I don't get it. What was the purpose of the tinfoil? And evidently, yes. Yes, rest in peace, sweet little baby Evelyn. Such a sweetheart. But I don't get evidently there was some of that in her throat, caused asphyxia. How tightly she was wrapped with the tinfoil and the baby blanket, that would have been another method of asphyxia. Being put into the garbage bag was another method of asphyxia. And then the way that she was shoved with her neck, her head and her neck, like sideways, that cut off her airways. So those were the 4 ways that she was asphyxiated, right? Yes. Yep. Justice for baby Evelyn. Jim Goodwin, Assistant District Attorney Amber Massengill, presented opening statements along with Megan Boswell's defense, Gene Scott. You will be in court. Oh, cool. Well, you will have to let us know. I'm planning on continuing this case unless something happens in the Sebastian Rogers case. Right now, there's nothing going on in that case but garbage, and I'm just not going to go there. Most of you probably see my short videos, and photos of Sebastian out there every day. I will not stop because I care about Sebastian. Our porch is still lit up green for Sebastian. We're not quitting, okay? So he is on my social media, every single day, guys. So I promise you I'm not quitting that case at all. I'm just not going to talk about garbage. There's really nothing more to talk about until, until something happens in the case. You're thinking she was out of plastic wrap and just had foil? Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense, I guess, right? Plastic wrap you can understand, but tinfoil. And what I don't understand is that the baby was put in that and was still alive. So why was the baby not fighting? Is my question. Oh, wow. Okay. Nariva, it's a big difference. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for that tip, Nancy. I appreciate it. What happens, I think most of it is I'm watching chat and I'm trying to talk at the same time, and I don't do that well. But yeah, as far as the plastic wrap, I guess that could, I mean, so, and we're thinking reasonably, right? Because if we're out of plastic wrap at home and we wanted to cover a bowl with it and put it in the fridge, right? Well, if we're out of plastic wrap, tinfoil is going to work, right? So we'll take out our tinfoil and we'll wrap it. Right? So she was purposely trying to smother this little girl? It is. It sounds gruesome, right? So was she purposely trying to smother this little girl? That's why I mean, guys, the tinfoil, it doesn't just mold. You have to mold it, right? When you're putting it on a bowl to put it in the fridge, you have to shape it around the edges of the bowl, right? And they said it was shaped perfectly to her face. to actually her upper body. Really? I never heard of that, Justice Jane. Tinfoil on a deer head to preserve for taxidermy. Well. Wow. Yeah, she told Caleb's mom that Evelyn was a mean baby. Guys, how do you have a mean baby unless you're mean to it? They learn by watching, right? Babies learn by watching, by mimicking what you do. When they're little and we make noises at them, right? Then they make the noises back at us, right? So what was she teaching her, this baby? And the pediatrician, the baby's pediatrician was on the stand as well. And the baby's pediatrician stated that the last time she saw Evelyn was when Evelyn was 10 and a half months old. And her next appointment was actually in December, which was missed. But she said at 10 and a half months, actually, she said Evelyn was ahead of her age. She was advanced for her age and in her motor skills and everything. She was talking and starting to talk and walk. So she was advanced. Yeah, the tinfoil was in her lungs. So, which would make sense if she was put in that thing and she was still alive. And she's trying to gasp for air. Some of that tinfoil would have gone into her mouth. Right. And into her lung. So, yeah. That poor baby. So I still think there were two people that could have saved Evelyn if they called CPS when they saw her filthy and smelling like urine. The diaper rash warning signs. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely CPS should have been called. Right. I think she doped her up and let her stay in the swing the whole time she was neglecting her for Hunter. Yeah. Yeah, I think her obsession with Hunter was way more than what she let on to believe. She kept talking to her friends about, oh, he's just a good friend. It's not even that. It's just about the fact that I feel so comfortable with him. Right. She wanted him. Her obsession was off the charts for Hunter, in my opinion. Yeah, and that baby swing was filthy. Was she leaving the baby in the baby swing while she went to see Hunter? I mean, was she leaving that baby alone? You've got to wonder when she had such a bad diaper rash, and I don't know. At this point, it would just be better off for her if she told the truth, and it's not going to go good for her. I don't believe at all that she's going to get off on reasonable doubt. I really don't. I think that she will be convicted. I think she will. And my only hope and prayer is that at some point she realizes what she did, because she hasn't realized it yet. They said that she was crying at the hearing when the judge was trying to decide which pictures to let in. I guess what they said was that he took out like 3 pictures, and those were pictures of the baby's head. The rest of it he left in there. And Megan hadn't seen these pictures yet, so they took a recess and they let her go in the back with her lawyer and look at these pictures, and she came back crying. Well, you saw her coming back, and she had a wet spot on her face, but to me, she didn't look like she would. I mean, if I had seen those pictures sitting there with her, and I walked back into the courtroom with her, I would have looked more like the distraught mother than she did, because she sure didn't look like a distraught mother to me. Yeah, that trailer was in the middle of nowhere, on her dad's land. I don't think he paid any attention, once she was out there. I know, Melissa, right? There's nothing like the smell of a sweet, clean baby. Oh, just breathing them in, holding them and breathing them in, right? Nothing like it. Love the smell of babies. Yeah, I don't know of anybody who doesn't love the smell of babies, clean babies. I did childcare for a little bit as well. I had this one baby who would come to me, and it wasn't that she was dirty by any means, but the parents must have smoked in the home, and the baby always reeked. Its clothes, everything always reeked of smoke. Her hair, everything. I would end up giving her a bath every day, washing her clothes, because I couldn't handle that smell. So I'd keep back one of her clothes and have it washed and ready so that after I gave her bath, and yeah, that swing was in really bad shape. The bottom of it just looked like poop had gone through. I mean, it was nasty. But yeah, the poor little thing. I don't know. I don't know how much evidence they still have to show what all is going on. And what kind of case, once the prosecution rests, what kind of case is the defense going to come up with, I noticed that too. There's a lot of baby oral syringes in the exhibit photos. How do you need that many? Right? How do you need that many? Yeah, she'll be convicted. I think so. I honestly think so. Yeah. Restrained in that swing. Yeah. Yeah. And by that time, by her age at 15 months, she shouldn't have even been in a swing anymore. I mean, they're too big at that point. My babies were only in the swing for when they were 2 to 4 months old, maybe. Because after that, they get too rowdy and they start, you know what I'm saying? She shouldn't have even been in that swing anymore at 15 months old. I don't know. Just so sad. So sad. So I hope and pray that we get justice for baby Evelyn. We've got baby Evelyn's Law, which I think is incredible. I think it's awesome. And it'll always help us to remember baby Evelyn, right? It'll always remind us of her whenever that law is put into place, right? As far as if somebody breaks that law, right? We'll hear about it, and it will always remind us of baby Evelyn. So, wherever you are, baby angel, yes, as soon as she wasn't living with somebody, things went downhill. Yeah, that trailer was disgusting. I wouldn't have wanted to clean it. That's horrible. That's horrible. All right, so Super Bowl is going to be here pretty soon, I guess. So, going to finish off with our grannyism for today. And the world is changed by your example, not by your opinion, right? We always like to give our opinions, and that's okay. But the world is really changed by our example, isn't it? It's kind of like how I was talking about babies mimic what we do, right? How could baby Evelyn have been a mean baby? I don't believe that for a second. Babies don't have it within them at 15 months old to be a mean baby. Not unless you're training them to be mean. Right? I just don't believe that. I know. I don't know, because she hasn't said much so far. Her father knew she would not clean her room. Why did she? Well, I don't know, right? But what is she really going to say other than the fact that she didn't have baby Evelyn during that time? I mean, I guess they do have to put her on the stand to dispute that, right? That she didn't have her. But I mean, she wasn't found with her anyway. So I guess she would probably have to be put on the stand for that. On day 3, I attended court, and there was a row of cardboard boxes, and underneath that table is full of physical evidence. Wow. We haven't seen that much physical evidence yet, have we? Not yet. The stuff that Caleb's mom bought her, we saw the blanket and the shirt. Not bought her, I guess made her with her Cricut machine. We did see that. Yeah, they just started showing that evidence yesterday, and then they ended. Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens, right? Wonder why DCS wasn't monitoring her since she had just come out of their care. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the rules and regulations are for that. Good for you, Justice Jane. Yeah, we need the camera in there. I just hope the cameraman behaves. They know better. I think that judge, though, is a little bit touchy, and they need to be careful. Yeah, I was worried about that. I really was. But Virginia is very strict. Gotcha. Well, hopefully, I don't know how long this is, how much evidence they've got. Sounds like a lot. We'll see what I imagine. I imagine they're going to show the blanket that she was wrapped in. I don't know if they'll show the tinfoil. I don't think I want to see that. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, Justice Jane. They were just, going by what the foster mom was saying. And Ginger brought up a good point. As long as she was supervised, she was doing fine. But the minute she was on her own, that baby wasn't taken care of anymore. It was all about Megan. Right. That's sad. That's really sad. You know, I know that, we had people in chat talking about this case and stuff, and I get that, right? But it's always these kind of cases, these heart-wrenching ones that everybody wants to talk about. And they're horrible, right? They're just awful. I hate even having to say that a baby was wrapped in tinfoil, shoved into a garbage can with their head kind of sideways. And you saw photos of the tinfoil already? Was it on the trial? Because I haven't seen that yet. Yuck. Oh, gosh. Awful. When you think of a baby being taken that way, why for the life of me, these kids don't stop and think, put the baby up for adoption. It's your decision. It's not your mom's, it's not your dad's, it's not anybody else's decision. You don't have a father listed on the birth certificate. I don't think she did anyway. But even if she did, Ethan could have had that dismissed. She could have gave that baby away instead of taking her life. The medical examiner testified before the grand jury. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I don't get it because there's so many people out there, loving people who would love nothing better than to have a baby. And so the investigator's the one with the baby face. Gotcha. Ugh, yuck. All right. Well, so let's lead by example, guys. The next time you're with a baby, teach it something good. I know Caleb's mom would have taken her. She would have. She seemed like she loved that baby, right? Oh, I know, right? You can see her monitor all the time. I mean, I couldn't make out what was on it, but she does need to move her monitor. the way that courtroom is set up is strange anyway, but yeah, she needs to move. She also needs a privacy screen on that monitor. Most courthouses have that. I don't understand why she don't have a privacy screen on that monitor. And Justice Jane, I'm afraid if you brought that up, then they'd take the cameras out of the courtroom, so don't bring it up. I wonder if you could buy her. We could all pitch in for a privacy monitor for that lady. Oh gosh. Oh man. Yes. Teach them how to blow bubbles in the tub and how to belly laugh, right? Make goofy faces, fishy lips, and, oh, yes. Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. And I don't know if who you guys are rooting for. I don't really care which one wins. I really haven't watched much football all year. I was born and mostly raised in Chicago, so I am a Chicago's Bears fan, and there's not much good going on there. So, yeah, I haven't watched a whole lot of football this year. Because it seemed like every time I watched, Bears lost. So, but I think it wouldn't have mattered. I think they lost everything. Now, if my dad were still alive, we'd be watching the game. But no, I'll just probably kick back and see what else is going on in the YouTube streets world. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you. Oh, that's a good thought. I wish it would. Do you think it's going to? Be nice if they did. That would be to see Sebastian's face, Summer Wells on those photos on halftime for the Super Bowl. That would be huge. That's a lot of people watching that, right? You live in Kansas, go Chiefs. Well, I hope they win for you, Melissa. All right. So thank you guys so much. Be sure to hit that like button on your way out. If you haven't become a member, you missed a really good members live yesterday. We had some fun. We talked about Brenda Joe in our live. She wasn't there. No, we had a really good time. So I encourage you guys to become a member. All right. So everyone have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.